can we tell whether we're serving God out of genuine devotion or secretly seeking the approval and praise of others? What practical steps can help us keep our hearts focused on God's glory instead of human recognition? True righteousness isn't about what we do, but why we do it. Jesus warns us that even good deeds can lose their spiritual value when they're motivated by desire to impress people rather than to honor God. The challenge is human heart naturally craves recognition, making it easy to blur the line between serving God and seeking applause. So here are several practical ways to keep your motive centered on God's glory. Practice doing good when no one is watching. One of the best tests of your motives is asking, would I still do this if no one ever knew about it? Acts of generosity, prayer, service, or kindness done in secret train your heart to seek God's approval above human praise. Regularly examine your intentions before serving, teaching, giving, or helping others. Pause and ask yourself, am I doing this to make God's name known or to make myself look good? Honest self-reflection can reveal motives we often overlook. Give God the credit. When people compliment your work, use it as an opportunity to point back to God's grace. A humble heart recognizes that every gift, every opportunity, all the success ultimately comes from Him. Be faithful in unseen responsibilities. God often measures faithfulness differently than the world does. While people celebrate visible achievements, God values obedience in the hidden places. Serving faithfully without recognition develops genuine humility. Spend more time with God than with your audience. Whether your audience is a congregation, social media followers, co-workers, friends, or just family, your private relationship with God should always be greater than your public ministry. A strong private life keeps public recognition from becoming your idol. Welcome correction and accountability. Trusted believers can help identify pride, self-promotion, and unhealthy desires for approval that we may not recognize ourselves. Accountability protects our hearts from drifting towards self-glorification. Remember who you're ultimately trying to please. Human praise is temporary and constantly changing. God's approval is eternal. When we keep eternity in view, the opinions of people lose their power to control our actions. The real goal isn't to avoid recognition altogether. Sometimes faithful service will naturally be noticed. The goal is to make sure that recognition is never the reason we serve. When God's glory becomes our highest priority, our acts of righteousness become an act of worship rather than performance for an audience. Thank you for joining me today. God bless.